evening, folks, and a very warm welcome to you wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. My name is Tonchi Prusak. I am your host, as is the case every Monday night at 8 p.m. And welcome to episode 16 for the year. 192 episodes in total. And tonight we've got a doozy of a show prepared for you as we embrace World Cup fever over the next couple of weeks. Well, tonight we'll be talking to what would each club do with our volunteers. And tonight we're going to be talking to one of the best in the region, Linda Tigani from Lara United, who after 17 years is going to hang up her apron, her kitchen apron, I guess, hang up the various roles she's had at Lara United and retire. And she tells me 4 years or something like that, her kids haven't been playing there, so she's still supported the club and still been involved with the club. We're going to talk to the legend that is Linda Tigani a little bit later on, and we'll also be speaking to the president of Lara United Football Club, Paul Grisbeck, just to, ascertain just how valuable Linda is to the Lara Recreation Reserve Club. It's not often you score 4 goals in one game at any level, and one of our guests tonight did just that over the weekend. Finn Murphy scored 4 goals in Barwon Soccer Club's senior men's team's 5-0 win over Glenroy Lions in the Men's State League 6 competition. So we'll be catching up with Finn a little bit later on, and also we've got all the news and views from the weekend just gone by. Heaps of stuff happening, and as we can see, the Go Socceroos there. We're putting the banner up. We're supporting the Socceroos, and it's going to be a big couple of weeks over the next few weeks. Where are you going to be watching the game on Friday midday? There's going to be a few watch parties happening around town, so definitely get yourself out there. We're going to take a very, very short break, and when we return, it will be time for tonight's news desk. Yes, news desk time, and we're going to get straight into the Victorian Premier League women's competition. On the weekend, Geelong Galaxy defeated Melbourne Uni 4-0. What a result that was. And let me tell you, Galaxy are really, really looking good. They're at the moment jumped into 3rd spot. We'll talk a little bit more about their fixture coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Just a reminder, by the way, that next week this weekend there will be no games in the Victorian Premier League or the Victorian Premier League women's competition. But back to what happened last weekend. Geelong Galaxy travelled up to Princess Park in Parkville to take on the students from Melbourne University, and it was a 4-0 win in favour of our ladies. Emily Sutcliffe scoring in the 24th minute and Sugamori in the 26th. Beth Coppe in the 51st minute, and Layla Butler once again getting on the score sheet. She scored in the 89th minute. Sutcliffe has now scored a total of 9 goals this season, and Sugamori has scored 6 goals. So between those two, 15 goals, more than half of Galaxy's total this year. So excellent effort there. Geelong Galaxy finds themselves in 13th position, just 2 points behind the leaders, Eltham Redbacks. And Saturday week on the 4th of July, Galaxy will be travelling up to the Eltham North Reserve to take on the top team. Now, as you can see there on the ladder, should Galaxy win, well, basically they will overtake the top team. So that July the 4th can't come soon enough. In Victorian Premier League Men's Division 1 competition on the weekend, you had North Geelong defeat Manningham United at Petty's Reserve out in Manningham. 3-2. Cassian Angel scoring in the 33rd minute. Patrick Wall in the 42nd minute. And Angus Chapman once again getting on the score sheet, scoring in the 60th minute. It's Chapman's 9th goal this season, and Wall has got 7 goals. So between those two, they've scored 16 goals once again, more than half of the Warriors' total this year. Now, the Warriors jump into 6th position on the ladder. They've still got a game in hand. So that's a fantastic place to be. They're really getting the momentum at the right end of the season. And in 2 weeks' time, the Warriors will host bottom side Port Melbourne, and the Sharks haven't had a very good season this year. That game kicking off at 5 p.m. at Alco Park, so that's on Saturday week. Okay, not a good weekend for the Geelong teams in State League 1 and State League 2. It was a battle of the top 2 teams in State 1, and Upfield defeated Geelong 2-1 to jump to the top of the competition standings. One of the bright spots for Geelong, though, was the fact that Olavo de Andrade Santos, I hope I've got that right, scored his 9th goal of the season, and he is actually leading the goal-scoring chart in State League 1. In State League 2, Surf Coast lost to Albion Rovers 2-1. Riku Sukanaga scoring his 4th goal of the season. Corio lost to Williamstown 1-2 at Hume Reserve. And we had Charlie Bullock scoring his 3rd goal of the season there. And Strathmore, the leaders, FC Strathmore, convincingly defeated Geelong Rangers 5 goals to 1 there. In State League 4, though, Bell Park have defeated Melbourne University. Nick Musso scoring 2 goals. He's taken his season's tally now to 7 goals. And there was an own goal as well. Over the page, we go to State League 5. Deakin Ducks did very well against Bendigo City up in Bendigo. 2-1 win, courtesy of a brace by Sam Wyeth. He's now scored 8 goals for Deakin this year, but interestingly, he's not the leading goal scorer there at Warm Ponds. Jeremiah Jacoby is with 9 goals. Lara United, their season just seems to be going from bad to worse. I watched this game. I was at the Lara Recreation Reserve, and Meadow Park absolutely ran away with this game in the second half. 6-1 win over Lara United. Trinity Marner so scoring the only goal of the game for Lara United. In State League 6 action, Bowen defeated Glenroy Lions 5-0. Bottom side Glenroy Lions. Finn Murphy scoring 4 goals. Tibor Zanders also scoring 1. And you just tuned in, we will be chatting with Finn Murphy a little bit later on in the show tonight. And last but certainly not least, as far as the Men's State League is concerned, Ocean Grove defeated West Point 2-1. Daniel Sfara scoring for Ocean Grove, as did Patrick Scusa. And Patrick Scusa has got 7 goals so far. David Favetta still the leading goal scorer out of Ocean Grove. But Murphy, with 4 goals this week, he takes his season's tally to an impressive 14 goals. 14 goals. And that means he is the leading goal scorer in State League 6, rather. Now we'll turn our attention to the fixtures this weekend. So there is a full round of matches being played in the Men's State League competition this weekend. Round 13, as we are officially into the second half of the season. Top team Geelong takes on Pascoe Vale. In fact, I think they should be second, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, they're still on top. Taking on Pascoe Vale at Stead Park. That game kicking off at 6 p.m. in State League 1 action. State League 2 sees Western Eagles host Geelong Rangers, 4th versus 10th at the Polish Sports Complex, 6:30 p.m. Saturday evening game. Rovers taking on bottom side Corio Soccer Club at Waste Sense Park. And Mill Park, who are 6th, hosting 5th place Surf Coast at Partridge Reserve. That game kicking off at 3 p.m. Bell Park travels to 7th placed Moonee Ponds United at J.H. Allen Reserve this Saturday. Must-win game if they want to maintain their position in the top 2. Over the page in State League 5 action, Deakin Ducks, who are in 3rd, they host 4th place Doreen United at Deakin. Game kicking off at 3 p.m. And Keilor Wolves, who are 2nd, They host Lara United at Green Gully Reserve, the back pitch, which is pitch number 4. And that game kicking off at 3 p.m. State League 6 action sees Moreland Eagles host Ocean Grove, 3rd versus 5th at Rupert Wallace Reserve. Now, a tough one for Bowen, who have jumped to 6th spot on the ladder. They travel to topside Hume Bulls, or actually, I should say they host topside Hume Bulls at Grovedale Reserve. That game kicking off at 5:15 p.m. In Women's State League action, North Geelong Warriors came up against sister club St Albans Dynamo at Elko Park on Saturday. Tiana Mahalik and Zoe Stosic scoring the Warriors 2 goals, but Dynamo also scored 2 goals, and the result was a 2-2 draw. In round 9 action this Sunday, Uni Hill Eagles, who are in 6th position, they take on Warriors at Findon Reserve, game kicking off at 3 p.m. The Eagles are just 1 point ahead of the Warriors, so a win this Sunday will see North Geelong jump over the Eagles into the top half of the State League 1 women's ladder. Turning our attention now to local matters. And first of all, the Geelong Region Men's Division 1 competition. We didn't have the results of the Armstrong United and Bowen game and Surf Coast and FC Leopold. So if you do have the scores of those games, pop them in the comments section. Golden Plains defeated Geelong Rangers 4-1. Deakin Ducks lost to Bell Park 1-6. Bell Park now jumping into top spot. Round 5 this weekend sees Bowen hosting Golden Plains. Rangers at home to Surf Coast. FC Leopold taking on the Ducks in the Battle of the Cellar Dwellers. And Bell Park hosting Armstrong United. All of those games will be played on Friday night. In the women's, 4 games played last weekend. Bowen defeated Surf Coast 4-1. Armstrong United lost to Lara United 5-1. Deakin Ducks travelled to Ocean Grove and they came away with a 5-0 win. And Bell Park defeated Geelong Rangers at Myers Reserve 3-0. So 3 out of those 4 games going the way of the visitors. In round 5 action this Saturday, Ducks taking on Bowen in a top-of-the-table clash at the earlier time of 11 a.m. at Deakin. Surf Coast at home to Armstrong United. Lara United at home to Geelong Rangers. And last but not least, Bell Park taking on Ocean Grove at the Bell Park Sports Club. As we said, the watch parties, they will be aplenty. And get yourself out to the Elephant and Castle, long-time supporter and sponsor of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And that game kicking off at 12 o'clock. Get there nice and early, get a seat, and it'll be live and loud on the big screens. I'm sure it'll be a fantastic atmosphere. Now, speaking of the World Cup fever is really, really catching a hold everywhere. And it's good to see the mainstream media, well, at least whilst the World Cup is on, really giving good coverage to the world game. And there's an article in the Geelong Advertiser last week which says Geelong football clubs are hope the Socceroos surge will build a lasting legacy. And the good paragraph there, which has been circled across the region, clubs that have spent decades building the game on muddy suburban pitches are hoping the global spotlight brings more than a temporary burst of excitement. And, if previous World Cups and even the Women's Asian Cup earlier this year is to go by, you'll find that straight after this, there's a lot of interest in our game. And in fact, our guest tonight, Finn Murphy, who played AFL football, Aussie rules, in his junior days and decided to turn to football, the real football, has a very, very good message about that as well. So stay tuned for that a little bit later on in the show. Curva Coaching, which is one of our biggest supporters and have been for several years. Adrian Leia, former Melbourne Victory and Socceroo defender, who these days is heavily involved with his own business, Curva Coaching Geelong. They've got a school holiday program coming up now in the next few weeks. And goalkeepers, this one's for you. So Curva Coaching says they're excited to welcome back Mitch Langerak who's a keeper from around this region down on the Bellarine Peninsula, for another exclusive goalkeeper camp. These school holidays, a fantastic opportunity to learn from one of Australia's finest goalkeepers, gaining valuable insights. So if you are a goalkeeper, if you're new to goalkeeping or looking to take your game to the next level, this camp is definitely for you. It's going to be held on Friday, July the 10th in Torquay at the Banyul Warrior Reserve. All the information is at the website curva.com.au. You can get all that information there. What else is happening? Oh, look, we've got to give a massive, massive shout out to Slavko Pantelic, or as everyone knows him as Salami. Now, for those of you who regularly follow the show, know that every Saturday we have a Super Saturday Soccer or Super Soccer Saturday segment on our Facebook page, the Geelong Region Soccer News. And unfortunately, it's in recent times, I've even threatened that I'm just going to finish it. It's going to end it. But from time to time, you get some absolute fantastic people who put their contributions. As you can see, Paul O'Neill has done one there, Barwon 5-0 win. And Slavko Pantelic has provided an awesome summary of all the games that were played on the Saturday. So all the State League and VPL actions. There we go. So Salami, thank you very much. Because of you, we're going to keep it going for a little bit longer. But folks, it's I don't know. Do we have such an apathetic, such a disinterested community in our football community in our city that people just are not interested in getting involved? I mean, the comments section in our comments is always the same. Always the same. Big shout out to Santino Mamone. He's always very, very active. There's a few other people there as well. Chris Yudeshko, anyone else? But it's pretty much Santino. It's the same old faces. And we keep harping on the fact that we need more support. And we're still looking for sponsors. You know, thank you to Birregurra and thank you, General Store, and thank you to the members. It's not that much. I mean, it takes $5 of membership, and that's not hard. And we'll actually put it down here to our week. There's only a small but very loyal band of members or supporters that each month pay just $5. Look, there you go. www.patreon.com/Geelong Region Soccer Show to keep the show going. At the moment, we've got enough for 20 episodes. We'd love to have see out the season and have 25 episodes this year, which will take us through to our 200th episode. Remembering tonight is our 192nd episode. But it just seems to me, for whatever reason, we've got a very, very underperforming, disinterested football community. Everyone seems to be locked in their little enclaves, in their little clubs. Prove me wrong, folks. Prove me wrong. Anyway, we're going to take a very, very short break after this, a very short commercial break. We will be back with our main, one of our guests for tonight, Linda Tagani from Lara United Football Club. Stay tuned for that. Service, food and coffee, well-stocked produce and groceries at very reasonable prices. 5 stars for the coffee served, beautifully made latte, everything you need in this wonderful little shop. Staff are always friendly and helpful, an absolute treasure to the community. These are just some of the glowing comments of praise by both regular and first-time customers of the iconic Birregurra General Store. The De Cunto family, well known in Geelong football circles, has run the iconic Country General Store since 2020, and apart from providing top quality service, they, along with their extremely pleasant and friendly staff, make sure that everything you could possibly need is well stocked and always available. Located at 59 to 61 Main Street in Birregurra and open all 7 days a week, the Birregurra General Store is open from 6 a.m. each weekday and 7 a.m. on weekends. If in Birregurra, pop in and say hello to Steve and Angus. We're here with outgoing volunteer of the decade, you could say. She's been a volunteer here at Lara United Football Club for the last 17 years in various capacities. And last week, Linda Tagani announced her retirement, imminent retirement at the end of the season. Linda, first of all, welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. How are you?
Thank you for having me, Tonchi.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. 17 years, and you've been involved not just here in the canteen, but
No.
you've been involved in all sorts
Yes.
of roles. How did you first get involved?
Well, my oldest son came home one day and said, I want to play soccer. And I'm like, soccer? You mean AFL? And I went, goes, no, soccer, round ball, Mum.
Yeah.
So that's how I got involved.
Smart
Lara
kid.
Soccer was part of the Lara Sporting Club. And, of course, a lot smaller than what we are nowadays. So I got asked to help out, and I did.
Yeah. And that, going back, that's 2008. Certainly with the facilities that we got here, the amazing facilities, they were absolutely not around, that's for sure. And it was a completely different era. And I guess going back 17 years ago, that's the thing. You know, it was a different climate. It was a smaller club. The sport was a lot smaller, but it's grown in leaps and bounds. Now, you've seen the club grow dramatically in that time.
Absolutely.
And you've been part of it, obviously.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that. How have you kind of experienced the growth of the club?
So we started off with one child, and then as my other boys got older, they all started to play, so 3 children. When we started to play over here, it was basically a side office and portable toilets. That was it.
Yep.
And then Lara United formed, and we then got one now North End club rooms.
Yep.
And then we were lucky to get grants, and female football grew, and we got the current canteen, social function space, and our home rooms and first aid rooms. So it's we've gone from being still a community club, always have been, volunteer run, but we've grown, and it's been fantastic to be a part of that growth.
Speaking of being part of it, and speaking of fantastic, what have been some of your greatest kind of memories over the years? What's made Lara United in your eyes?
I think it's that basically welcoming, a family club, all accepting. Basically the fact it's like a family. It's like a big family. So it's still got, I guess, that country feel because Lara. But we're I've known most of even some of the senior players since they were juniors. So to say that is like, you know, and some of the ones that are now coming up through reserves or local men, I've known them since primary school or kindergarten. So it's been, I've watched, they're like my soccer children grow.
You're like the soccer mum.
I'm a soccer mum to many. Soccer mum to many.
Now, Linda, what would be your words of advice to, you know, like with the World Cup now, there's going to be euphoria, obviously. Kids that have never played the game will want to play. People that probably haven't played for 10, 15 years will want to restart it. There'll be that post-World Cup euphoria. At the same time, we need volunteers, and there might be people that might be thinking about, should I get involved, should I not get involved? What would be your words of advice to, particularly Lara United folk watching this, what would be your words of advice for these people to get involved with clubs like this?
Well, particularly if you want your children to play, the more volunteers, that many hands make light work. And it is so true. So at the moment, the committee have multiple roles, and that's always been the case. But even if someone can just offer 2 hours on a game day in the canteen, or they can sweep out the change rooms, or put the flags out, or marshal, or all those little things. But when you're relying on 2 handfuls or a handful of people every week, it becomes a lot. So, you know, you might think you don't have the skill. I have still, you know, I'm still learning. So nothing is hard. You're not by yourself. You're supported. And just do it. Like, it's more rewarding to see, particularly if you've got children playing, if you volunteer, then they want to be involved with the club. They want to stick around. They see the benefit. They see then like juniors see seniors play. And it is community clubs run on volunteers. Without them, your children or you can't play.
That's a really good point.
So,
that's an absolutely great point.
Unfortunately, it's the way it is. We try to keep our canteen prices fairly low so that it's family friendly. We're not our fees, we try to keep as low as we can, but in the same sense, we still have electricity, water, licensing to run a canteen. You've got a council food selling license, you've got your liquor license, you've got to pay for people to be able to sell the alcohol or serve the alcohol, responsible at their RSA. You know, we've got rep fees every week. You've got first aid ongoing costs. You've got the seniors as physio. So we've got a lot of costs, so without a canteen, you can't actually. It's the bread and butter. Yep. It's the extra bit on top of fees to keep the club going.
Awesome. Well, what are the plans post-retirement? Have you got any plans you want to do? Well,
I'd like to travel. Yep. My husband's been semi-retired for a few years, so and all my boys have grown. I haven't had anyone playing soccer at Lara for 4 years. So I'm still down here most weeks, but I haven't had anyone play.
There you go.
So,
well, like any mum, a real mum or a soccer mum, very hard to let go of their little kids and that kind of stuff. My tip is in some way, shape, form, you'll be back, albeit maybe in a casual role.
Look, I said I don't mind helping out occasionally. But I can't be expected to do it all the time.
No, absolutely. Whatever the case may be, thank you so much for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. And if there's a legacy that Linda Tagania leaves, hopefully there'll be people out there that'll be really engaged. They'll be they'll have that desire to want to follow in the footsteps and also volunteer, put their hand up and volunteer. Hopefully that's going to be inspired. That's the word I was looking for. Hopefully they'll be inspired.
Thank you so much.
Good on you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a little short break, and when we return, we're going to hear from the president of Lara United and what he thinks of this woman.
Oops. I should be worried I take it.
And we're now with the president of Lara United, a good friend of mine, good friend of the show's, Paul Grisbeck. Paul, you got a little bit of a sad look on your face, and probably partly due to the fact that the senior men aren't doing so well this year. They're at the bottom of the ladder, but halfway of the season, hopefully they'll pick up. But I think it's got more to do with the fact that last week, one of your main players off the park, Linda Tagani, announced that after 17 years she's going to go into retirement.
Yes.
That must be a massive blow to the club.
It is in the decisions that she's making to retire.
Yeah.
Because she has been enormous. I mean, she sets up one of the best canteens that we ever visit.
Yeah.
And she's always had a lot of compliments because of the canteen she runs. But we have known about it for a while. So she has been telling us quietly that she's going to be going off with Juno and start travelling around the world. So the threat was there for I know, and the threat was there for the last couple of years, and now end of this year it will come true, and we just hope we're going to find some great volunteers that step up to fill that role in some capacity.
Yeah. Now, if anyone's been to Lara Recreation Reserve and you've gone to the canteen, you would have met this bubbly woman who just lightens up your day, no matter how bleak the day is. And that's Linda. Let's talk about Linda. I mean, 17 years. She announced last week that she's going to, after 17 years, take a break. But she's not just the lady in the canteen. She's been involved in pretty much everything here. Tell us a little bit about your own personal connection, your own personal experience with Linda, and how much she's done for the club.
Well, Linda started off with her kids, like most of us come in, and one of those parents, which is not that many of. They're hard to find, those special parents that want to be involved in the club deeply to help out and volunteer and do things. So Linda joined us with her kids in mini roofs, and this is where we got to meet Linda. She was just a helper at first, and then she became a coordinator, and then with the new building, eventually became our canteen manager, and which is a job she does love, actually. And I look at her some days and think, geez, how do you keep on going in that job? But she loves it. So, and I suppose it's that personable part of her that makes it so easy for her, that she just likes to be around people, having a chat with them all the time.
Yeah. Now, if you haven't been down to Lara Recreation Reserve in a long time, do come down here. The facilities are absolutely fantastic, whether it's for a women's game, a men's game, or a juniors game. It's absolutely brilliant. And let's talk a bit about the club itself. Just driving here, I noticed Saturday afternoon, there's no activity at the footy club just across the road, no activity at the netball club across the road. And one of the problems that the Lara Footy and Netball Club this year has had, they haven't been able to field a senior team, and numbers are struggling. On the flip side, Lara United and football, the real football here in Geelong, is going absolutely nuts. How have you guys coped with that, the growth in numbers?
Well, we've struggled probably, to be honest, because volunteers, our numbers got capped this year a bit lower in the last couple of years because we couldn't find enough coaches. And in saying that, even our senior team, we probably turned over 50 players in our seniors from last year, and yet we've still been able to come back with 2 more teams. And those very young and learning a lot, but we've got benches and we've got lots of subs, and we've got extras and emergencies as well. So from a numbers perspective, club's doing really well. From a volunteer perspective, it's always a battle. Every club and every president I talk to has the same issue.
And we talked about this off air, and Linda's obviously going to be a big loss because she's part of the furniture. Quietly, I think she'll be, when she gets back from a trip or whatever, she'll come back and help out on a casual basis. Let's hope, fingers crossed. But the World Cup now, there's going to be an anticipated boom in new players wanting to take over. It happens every time. Hopefully that means there'll be new coaches. Hopefully that means there'll be people joining clubs. But we need now volunteers. What would you say, to those people now riding on the back of this World Cup euphoria, who are involved with, whose kids maybe play, but they aren't involved with clubs? What would be your pitch to get volunteers involved?
Well, look, the pitch is just help out. I mean, you don't have to be a coach. You don't have to be in charge of any section or any one thing. Like Linda's taken a long time to get to the position she is now.
That's a really good point,
and so I think for a lot of people, they are scared off a little bit because they're going to get lumbered or put into a position where they're expected to do quite a lot. And we're looking for assistants. So we have those people already in position. We need new assistants. And then one day, these new people that are assistants will become the core of the club. Because we have got a few people stepping down. We haven't made those announcements yet. I mean, I'll put it here first, is that Kerry Maliza, who's been our Eddie Waddick Award winner for twice and stuff, she was stepping down from her coordinator role. So that's a massive role as well. And my wife, Kylie, she's stepping down from the secretary and registrar at the end of the season as well.
They're 2 big roles, so we don't want to scare people off. But that's a good point that you said. You're actually looking for starting level or entry level positions, assistants, because those people that do want to get really, really involved, and often you find, and I was talking to someone from another club, they were president, and they said, well, I wasn't really thinking of it, but a few years ago I just got involved helping out in a canteen, I think it was, and it was one of the clubs on the other side of Geelong, and bit by bit, their interest grew, and as they sort of, maybe their confidence, maybe they started to get to know a few people around the club, they wanted to get more and more involved. But there's a lot of people that just, maybe once every 2 months, 3 months, that still means a lot, doesn't it?
It does. Look, the best thing to do is if you've got a group of friends, it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, if you've got 3 or 4 of you that you like to hang around with at games and stuff on the weekends, watching your kids and that's the perfect scenario. The 4 of you or 3 of you or 2 of you come in and work together, and then it's light work because you're just working together, you're bouncing ideas off each other, and that's what we're trying to hope for, is to get these little helpers here everywhere, because Kylie and I will, and Kerry will all still be here, but it's time for the change. It's a big change coming this year, next year, and because we've done over 10 years now and we're pretty burnt out, to be honest, as I know most are. So we're looking for those new people to start looking at taking over little roles around the club, and then we'll just be the helpers then, and we'll be assisting others.
I'm sure there's a lot of people from Lara United tuning into this podcast, maybe for the first time. Here is a call out for arms to all those people. Contact Paul. He's a friendly fella. Talk to him. Get involved, even if it's, like I said, once every 2 months or once every month, just to help out. It'll be a huge thing. Mate, wishing you all the very best. Thank you so much for joining us. You're doing a ripper job. As I said, the facilities are absolutely fantastic compared to what they were maybe 10 years ago. It's just come along in leaps and bounds. And on a cold day like today, you come here and you're not going to get wet. In fact, if you're in the kitchen, you're going to be nice and warm. So wishing you all the best. And to Linda, I'm sure she will not be lost to the football community totally.
No, hopefully not.
That's for
Thanks,
sure.
Tonty.
All right, folks, we're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, we're going to continue with tonight's episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
and welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Well, the season certainly is past the halfway mark, and gosh, it has absolutely flown. But there's been so much happening this year, and I'm sure there is a lot more happening before season's end. But it's not often that you score 4 goals in one game, and our next guest did exactly that over the weekend. A remarkable achievement, 4 goals in Barwon's win over the weekend. And on top of that, he's scored 14 goals in 12 games to, quite convincingly lead State League 6 at the moment, the Golden Boot Award. And of course, we are talking about the Barwon Soccer Club's sharpshooter himself, Finn Murphy, who joins us. Finn, good evening and welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure, mate. It's been great form so far this year. In 12 games, 14 goals, and obviously including that 4-goal haul on the weekend. And look at that. Geez, that looks pretty good, huh? 5-0 win over Glenroy Lions, and 4 of those goals were scored by yourself. Take us through the game. How was it? Sort of an easy walk in the park, Saturday afternoon park for you, was it?
Yeah, it was. Well, we went into the game, obviously, knowing they were in last place. And they're struggling a little bit. So, yeah, you obviously don't want to go into the game expecting to walk away with the 3 points. But if there was a game where you do go in with that mindset, that was the one. It was lucky. We were fortunate to go 1-0 up early, and then, we were able to control the ball and come away with a good result in the end.
Yeah, and you're right. Though they are last, they are struggling at the moment, and certainly it would have been a result that you would have expected to do quite well. But nonetheless, look, having said that, it's certainly done wonders for your, I guess, your confidence, and it's been a sort of a topsy-turvy season, hasn't it? It's I guess it's really good to get these type of results. It works wonders for the confidence, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Feels good, of course. Looking at that ladder, you can see our goal difference isn't great. But ultimately, 6 wins, regardless of some of the poor losses we've had, puts us in a good stead for the rest of the season. Hopefully, push towards that top 3.
Yeah. Now, you're obviously your own form. You've been pretty happy with that. 14 goals in 12 games, not a bad statistic. But what do you put that down to? Is it the guys up further up the field providing really good passes, or are you just finding your groove and you just seem to be hitting your straps at the right time? Because you've been quite consistent, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it's been a combination of a few things, really. The way we train during the week is a big aspect of that, and also just the way that the team is set up, that I guess that confidence that you mentioned comes from everyone around me doing their jobs at a really high level. As a striker, like you rely on a lot of the service that you get, and I've been really fortunate to have teammates such as Nathan and Cooper, and also Zach Nejeveski behind me, who are constantly creating chances. And we've also we've had a few players come in recently, and they've been a big help. Taj Beckworth, he's really class. We've had him on the wing recently. So my job is just to try and finish those chances that they create for me and keep improving on other parts of my game as well.
You're doing a great job there, so keep doing what you're doing. Tough game this week though. A game at home. It's a big one against the top team in Hume Bulls. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. Now that game kicking off at 5:15 this Saturday afternoon, or early Saturday evening, I suppose. Do you like the Saturday evening time slot games? Under lights and.
They do take up quite a bit of the day at times, but I guess it's kind of it's the same as having an away game effectively, because you finish the away games are at 3:00 and you finish those at 5, and then obviously you spend the time traveling back. The lighting's improved over the years. It used to be pretty poor a few years ago, but I think my home record is a lot better than my away record, so definitely cannot complain.
Can't complain, that's for sure. Yeah, and it does create a fantastic atmosphere, and with a lot of. I do notice I've been up there a couple of times, and you do notice a lot of people from other clubs that they may have their games may have finished earlier that day, so they come and probably got nothing else to do on a Saturday evening or whatever. They come along, or maybe before they're going out, or they pop in for a little bit. But it's great and it's good to see. Now let's talk about yourself. You originally started as a junior at Surf Coast before you moved on. Is that right?
Yeah. So I'm based I live in Torquay, and I've been down the Surf Coast region my whole life. So yeah, I was originally at Surf Coast during my juniors, and then I moved to Geelong Rangers from under 15s and above. And yeah, now I've landed at Barman. So yeah, that's the journey there.
Yeah, and you were telling me also that you dabbled in other sports as well. So it wasn't just football that you were playing, but you've been quite a very active person throughout your childhood and your teenage years, and even now your adulthood. What other sports have you played?
So I was mostly AFL, Australian rules, during my juniors. So I guess soccer took a bit of a back seat while that was going on, and I guess I treated it a bit more as recreational. And then I was also in athletics as well, bit of a niche one, triple jump. So yeah, those are my two ones.
Do you see some of those, I don't know, the attributes or the skills that you kind of collected in either playing that sport, the other code, or athletics? Has it helped you with your football?
Definitely, yeah. With triple jump, for instance, a lot of the training was plyometrics.
I would have thought so. Yeah,
bounding and a lot of explosive movements. So I think one of my strengths as a striker is to have that explosiveness and positive acceleration, and that helps me get in behind.
Do you score many goals with your head? Do you score many goals in the air or predominantly on the ground?
No. Funnily enough, this is pretty bad, but because I played footy during juniors, I actually experienced a few concussions. So I actively try and avoid headers at all costs, because
that makes a lot of sense.
It is you'd be surprised how much trauma hitting the ball gives you. Even if you don't really feel it in the moment, there's a lot of science and study behind how much hitting the ball can trauma the head. So I do try and avoid headers at all costs.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point that you actually make. And is that one of the reasons you reckon that you probably stopped playing footy, because of those concussions?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons. And yeah, obviously soccer, there's not too much danger with regards to concussions. But yeah, that was one of the reasons, I think. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, you're doing very well at the moment. 14 goals, like I said, in 12 games, and you're only 22, so you've still got lots and lots of years ahead of you. Do you have any kind of ambitions of playing at a higher level, or moving up the state leagues? I'm sure, look, Bowen, the way things are looking in years to come, will probably move up a division or two. But do you kind of hope that maybe in the next year or two you might be playing higher, maybe even aiming for VPL or NPL one day?
Yeah, perhaps. I think the part of the previous years, soccer's taken a bit of a back seat while I complete my my studies. It's a bit full on with law at the moment.
Is that what you're studying? Is it?
Yeah, studying law at the moment in my third year. So coming towards the penultimate stage of that. But yeah, definitely, I did pre-season with Deakin. They're obviously in a bit of I think they're State League 5. I've got a good relationship with the coach there, so I was pretty set on playing for Deakin prior to this season, but ultimately decided to play at Barwon in the end. But yeah, absolutely. I think my fitness is improving, and yeah, definitely not ruling it out.
Oh, fantastic. Well, it was a good move. You're amongst the goals. You're certainly, confidence is sky high. And this Saturday evening, big game against Hume Bulls. They're at Grovedale Reserve. They're on top by 1 point from Maidstone United. Barwon is in 6th position and Ocean Grove in 5th position. There's a good little local rivalry happening there. They're on the same amount of points as you guys, but they seem to have 5 wins and 4 draws, whereas you guys have got 6 wins and 1 draw. It's a good little rivalry. That's a friendly rivalry you've got there happening with Ocean Grove. And look, speaking of goal scorers, they've got David Favetta, Patrick Scusa. They're doing very, very well in the goal scoring charts as well. Do you look forward to that fixture? That twice a year, I guess, you're coming up against the local rivals.
Definitely, yeah. We had the last laugh against them last time, and yeah, the crowd was really good. That was a big impact on the way we played. And yeah, you mentioned the rivalry. Hopefully, yeah, we come out on top again.
Yeah, when's that? You don't off the top of your head, you don't know when the next derby day is?
2 or 3 weeks, I think, because obviously the cycle's restarted with it's the second half of the season. I think we played them pretty early last time, so
right.
Yeah.
So it's coming up. Coming up pretty soon. Okay, that's going to be awesome. Jesse Diddlitzer, we had him on the show several weeks ago. The Barwon coach, first year Barwon coach, only a young man himself. How do you find? How do you find? Is he like? How do you find the fact that he's only a few years older than you? Do you relate better to him the fact that he's kind of just that slightly older than you? How's his style? Does it agree with your footballing?
Yeah, really good. I played with Jesse the last 2 years. He was the keeper, and yeah, I thought he had a really good style of leadership as a keeper. He obviously he sees the game from the back, and I guess being a goalkeeper, you have like a good view of the pitch. So he's really educated, and
that's what he said. Actually, the fact that he was a goalkeeper, everything in front of him, and it's put him in good stead for coaching. But I guess now he's at the halfway line, so he kind of has that different view that he has to kind of recalibrate everything, I guess. But that's a really good point that you mentioned about that as well. Yeah. Mate, well, thank you so much for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. We're certainly going to be watching the second half of the year and how you go about it. But if the first half has been any indication, mate, hopefully you'll be hitting 20 goals in one season. Wouldn't that be good?
Fingers crossed. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, mate, thank you so much for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast.
Thanks, Tonchi.
Thank you. That was Finn Murphy who joined us tonight on the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. Very, very smart fella, doing law as well, and no wonder he's trying to avoid those headers. I don't blame him at all. We're going to take a break, and when we return, it is going to be time to wind up tonight's episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. And that brings us to the end of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast tonight. Oh, I've still got the news background. Let's pop something a little bit more. That's it, the Go Socceroos. Yeah, and speaking of the Go Socceroos, banner, the backdrop, Elephant and Castle, they've got the watch party happening this weekend, 12 o'clock. So if you need to take a 2-hour lunch break or from work, or if you need to go home early from school, when it is, I think, the end of school holidays, by the way, you've got my permission. There we go. So that's all at 12 o'clock. Big game coming up, obviously, this weekend. Folks, that brings us to the end of episode 192, our 16th episode for the season. We look forward to having your company again next Monday night at 8 p.m. Until then, good night and bye-bye.